On Wednesday afternoon, April 23rd, strike drones attacked the territory of the Alabuga Special Economic Zone in Tatarstan, where a Shahed drone manufacturing plant is located. Astra reported on this and published a video with footage of the drones. The footage also captured the operation of Russia's air defense systems protecting strategic sites. Previously, monitoring channels reported the flight of UAVs over Tatarstan. Also today, restrictions were imposed on civilian aviation flights at the airports of Nizhnekamsk and Kazan. The Russian Ministry of Defense claims to have shot down Ukrainian drones in the sky over Tatarstan. Currently, the exact details of the attack's aftermath are unknown. At the enterprise in the Alabuga Special Economic Zone, the Russians assemble Iranian Shahed 136 drones, which they designate Garan-2. These are the drones with which the Russian invaders attack Ukrainian cities and kill civilians almost every night. Therefore, the destruction of the facilities for the production of these unmanned aerial vehicles is likely one of the priorities of the Ukrainian Defense Forces. The first drone attack on military facilities in the Alabuga Special Economic Zone, located near the city of Yelabuga, took place on the morning of April 2nd last year. Photos and videos of eyewitnesses show a damaged two-story building with the inscription Giron. It is reported that this is one of the buildings of the hostel built for employees of the Special Economic Zone and students of the Alabuga Polytech Educational Center in 2022. In January, it was reported that Russia is deceitfully recruiting foreigners to manufacture Shahed drones at a factory in Tatarstan. Foreigners are promised jobs at a high-tech production facility, high salaries, and career growth. However, after signing the contract and arriving at the workplace, they discover that they will have to assemble kamikaze drones, which the Russians use to strike Ukraine. An elite Russian military unit is now rushing full steam ahead to capture Ukrainian positions. And the crutches? They're just for covering their tracks. Nothing else.
Все здоровы? Завтра, блядь, на войну. Да, сегодня вечером собираемся. Так, давай готовься, блядь. Шмотки готовь. Завтра все вместе поебашь. А ты что, загораешься? А? Что? Бля, Юр, вытащи хуй изо рта, заебал. А, молодец.
Apti Alaudinov, commander of Akhmat unit, has publicly challenged the 225th Assault Regiment of the Ukrainian Armed Forces to battle. Alaudinov is the one who complained that Akhmat was unable to engage in combat in Kursk region because the armed forces in Ukraine had bypassed its positions. The 225th Regiment responded by eliminating another Russian assault group in Russia's Belgorod region.
I call this 225th Brigade the Rooster Brigade, and we, as they say, are sending you an invitation. Come to us, everyone, exactly to the area where the Akhmat Special Forces are located. We are waiting for you and are very glad when you come exactly where we are located. Try once again, as they say, to send as many of your fighters as possible, specifically to our section, because we are ready to meet you and will be very glad. Greetings to the 225th Petushina Brigade from the commander of the Special Forces, Akhmat, General Laurinov.
An enemy FPV drone hit an Oncilla armored personnel carrier carrying Ukrainian soldiers from the Predator Brigade. All the warriors survived, suffering only concussions, and are already back to fulfilling combat missions.
Забирайте его нахуй! Сюда поставь! Сюда, сюда!
Soldiers from the 49th Separate Assault Battalion Carpathian Sich have captured a Senegalese national fighting for Russian forces near Toretsk, the battalion's press service reported. A video released by the unit captures the detained man. who was reportedly taken prisoner during combat operations in the area. According to the man, he had studied in Russia for 2 years and later planned to emigrate to Germany. He said he had found someone who offered to help him travel through Ukraine, claiming, "It's easy to get to Europe from here." The man was detained without resistance by 2 battalion soldiers. He had minor injuries to his left leg, which he said were caused by a Ukrainian drone strike. Russia has been deploying young Africans to the front lines in Ukraine, with some reportedly coerced into fighting under threat of deportation. European officials say the Kremlin has forced thousands of migrants and foreign students into combat roles, using them to bolster manpower for offensive operations. Russian authorities are said to be increasingly blackmailing African students and migrant workers, threatening not to renew their visas unless they join the military. European sources also note that Moscow continues to recruit prisoners, and some African workers in Russia have been detained and presented with a choice: deportation or military service. In some cases, individuals have reportedly bribed Russian officials to avoid being conscripted. A year ago, reports emerged of a Russian unit tasked with recruiting mercenaries in several African nations, including Rwanda, Burundi, Congo, and Uganda. Recruits are promised a monthly salary of $2,200, health insurance, and Russian citizenship for themselves and their families. Anatoly Krapchinsky, deputy director of an electronic warfare production company, stated that Russia is modernizing its X-59, X-101, and X-555 missiles. Significant changes have been made to the X-101 and X-555 cruise missiles, allowing them to avoid any external interference. Russia has also modified the X-59 missile into the X-69 by increasing its range, Krapchinsky explained. A Russian woman thinks that the EU doesn't have enough food. "We have everything from meat to candy. We have plenty of dumplings, pancakes, cutlets. And you in the European Union don't have a fucking thing. We don't feel sorry for you." It's incredible how delusional Russians are.
Как там у вас в Евросоюзе, мы не знаем. Мы вам даже не сочувствуем. Вон у нас пельменей, умотаться. Блинов, котлет. У нас всего много, всего в избытке. Так классно, да, что Россия и Беларусь сами себя обеспечивают в продовольственном плане на 100%. У нас есть все. От мяса до конфет. А у вас нихуя нет в Евросоюзе. Жалко мне вас? Нет. Повторяю еще раз. Нет, не жалко.
CNN showed the portrait that Putin gifted to President Trump in March. It is reported that pro-Putin artist Nika Safronov painted it. Allegedly, he didn't charge for his work as he realized immediately what role this portrait can play in the USA and Russia getting closer. It's pretty clear the Russians are targeting Trump's ego with a cheap kind of manipulation. They've thrown in all sorts of patriotic symbols and painted him as some kind of hero. And honestly, he probably loves it. Rescuers saved a cat in Zaporizhzhia after a Russian attack. Thankfully, both he and his human are safe. But look at the state of the apartment.
Хозяйка, ваш питомец. Гарний який. Да, большой, хороший. Мальчик, да?
Так, а можно тихенько, сейчас я...
Да, давайте, мы слушаем.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comment section. The membership link is in the description.
Every day. We had a guy last week, it's 6 rescues in 6 days. You know, he's doing the job every day.